Okay, in this video I'm going to solve this problem to create a file called timerObject.html, which is a reformulation of the solution to the previous problem. And so I'm going to do this quickly. Object-oriented designing JavaScript is a difficult topic. It's something that's not well understood by programmers because it uses something called prototyping. So it's a prototypical object-oriented system, and that is not an approach that's used in any of the other commonly used languages, and so it's frequently misused and misunderstood. We're not going to dig into the details, and we're going to just look at we're just going to scratch the surface essentially and just look at the very beginning of how to use objects in JavaScript. So I'm going to start by copying our existing code, the solution to the timer problem that does not use objects, and we'll rename that to timer_object, and let's go ahead and edit that. So we've seen this last time. There's a start function, it's a global function. There's an update function, and the start function is invoked here when the on-click event occurs for the button. That's what we're going to do is we're going to have a timer object we'll call start on the timer object. And let's start by defining that. That'll be a global variable called timer. So var timer equals new object. And basically there's another way to do this. I think I'm going to define this a little bit differently. I want to do new function and we'll put the function in here. So we create the timer, we'll call start on this timer, 1, 2. And so we have a function in here called start. Let's just test our syntax to see if we got this right. I'm going to call alert. So when the user clicks start, the alert function will say hi, and that's it. I'm going to see if we actually got that right. Now let's try that. Yeah, click start should say hi, but it does not. Let's see what the problem is. I'll bring up the JavaScript console. The object has no method start. So we do new function, and this function, oh, I see my problem here, should be start equals function. So in this, basically functions serve as constructors in Java. So what I'm going to do here is I'm defining what's called an anonymous function. So it's just the word function with an argument list that has no name. So it's a nameless function. I call that an anonymous function. So the anonymous functions are defined in line like this. And so we're going to create an instance of, using a new operator, an instance of this anonymous function, and then assign that reference to this timer variable. So when this the function when the function runs, which is the constructor, what it does is it defines a new function, a variable called start, and assigns to it a function which just displays hi, and I believe that this should be this.start. And that will work. So this refers to the function that is running, which is this anonymous function, and this creates a member function within that constructor. It's a little complicated. Let's take a look at how that might work. So we hit reload. Let's click start, and there it is. So we got the syntax. And so we have a start function, and but actually the start function should do something else. It should do this. We're just gonna copy the from our old solution, and what we'll do here is we use the set timeout function, and we pass in the this string here, update. I'm going to check on something. So we want to call the update function on our timer object, so we can do it like this. This string here, which is the first argument to set timeout, is an expression that is executed after this amount of delay, and those are milliseconds. Well, that means we also need an update function, which we're going to grab from here. Let's see how that works. You know, with an IDE, we wouldn't have to do this. We could have some auto-correcting function take care of this indentation. Alright, so we have this dot update equals function, and here's our anonymous function. We pull out the number of seconds, we check the value of seconds, modify the image element. Otherwise, we come down here and we call update on the timer again. Let's see if this runs. So we start at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there's the image. So it looks like we got it right. So basically what we did here, just to review, for the on-click event, for the on-click attribute of our button element, we're using the expression timer.start. So it looks like we're calling a method on the timer object. Now the timer is connected to this this element right here. So there's a strong dependency there with between the timer class, or this timer object rather. It's not really a class, a timer object, and this HTML element. So it's a bit of a weakness. I view that as a weakness. The element is not. It has some external dependencies and complications. It could be designed a little bit differently, perhaps calling another method which would maybe insert this element somewhere in the text and so on. So there is improvements that can be made to this code. I'm not going to go into those right now. So what we do here is we declare a variable called timer, and we set that equal to an object. And the objects are created by calling functions, by invoking the new operator on functions. And so we're invoking a new operator here, and we're passing in this function right there. And this function is an unnamed function, otherwise called an anonymous function. It's just a declaration of the function itself without a name. and then we immediately use that that defined function by making it the argument of this new operator. And in the function, what this function does is it has two expressions. The function contains two expressions. In the first expression, it declares a start member and sets it equal to a function, another anonymous function. And it also declares an update member and sets that equal to another anonymous function. So the start function starts the process of calling update after every 1 second. And then the update method tests the value that's stored in the button element, and when that value reaches 0, it's time to set the visibility of the image element to visible, so that the image is displayed. At this point, we stop invoking the update function recursively. If the input element referred to through the ID seconds, if its value is not 0, then what we'll do is decrement that value by 1, and then schedule to have the timer's update method invoked again after 1 second. So that's our basic solution, and that concludes this video.